This episode of The Hormozis is a day behind the scenes at the acquisition.com office. So you're gonna see me talking with my team, doing an employee appreciation event, and running meetings. My dad was like, can you send me a picture once it's done? I wanna put it on my Facebook. When you're working at home, you're seeing somebody all the time because you're in the same space. And so when we work at the office, we go in at different times, we leave at different times, we eat lunch at different times. And so if we both have free time, I'm just gonna run into his office and like say, hey. Do you mind dropping like a synopsis of that in the leadership thread? Yeah. I have to go into for a little bit.
Sick.
Share it with me after you write it up. You have any of those algae gummies?
You eat all that shit. This is it. I'm just gonna go without these until the next one.
Stop, take it back.
Expired.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, have fun.
So after I checked in with Alex, I went to my next meeting where we were talking about basically the impact of having an in-person office. Oh, it's been nuts, yeah.
Space has been super great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's been really, this has been a really good meeting.
I was like compulsive, like I have to go in and tell them like the carpet's not forever. Like, don't look at the rug.
Don't
You know?
even care.
You know, having the building has been a lot of mixed feelings. Like so much more work than I was anticipating, like to the point it just like pisses me off. I think I didn't anticipate how much work it was gonna be. We have like the 2 studios being built. So there's one for me, one for Alex, and there's a studio downstairs being built, which is a shared studio. And then redoing all this spacing to be updated and modern. Poor Yasmin has been the one handling a lot of it. We hired the building manager who's taken a ton, but it was a lot more than I anticipated for such a large building. Especially when you buy an office like we did, where it's not completely up to date and we're redoing everything. That's a huge piece that was unknown. I think on the other hand, I still like being in here more than I don't because our team is here, and I think just anybody who's here, they just get a lot of ancillary time with, you know, myself, Alex, other people on the team that other people don't. So I think it provides more opportunity to the teammates who come and work in the office. It's cool to have everybody in one spot where you feel like you can bond much more easily. Like it was totally worth it. You know, we have a gym down, so we like all we'll work out and be like, hey, we can lift together. And then it's like, oh, you want to grab dinner, you know? And so stuff like that. I mean, communicating in person, I think is even easier than over Zoom. I like it way more. Like my quality of life is higher. Like working at home and not seeing people all day. I prefer having like people around. But I think the biggest part is just, I don't know, it feels like you just have a lot more ability to help. Like the communication and the ability to see change in people, it's just so much faster. It makes my job easier for me to meet with people that report to me and to talk with them, to guide them, to mentor them, to help them. And so it's all those like discretionary moments that I think I didn't get before that I've just noticed I'm able to help develop people much faster. I see the benefits of the people who have been around us in person and like what it looks like and how much faster they've grown. If I can get as many people in person as I can, then I'd rather do that. And I feel like with where the brand is right now, a lot of people are willing to move. So yeah, I think for everything that we want to do, that just helps a lot more. Getting the building, I was scared because it's like, wow, it's a commitment. I don't even like buying a house. But I knew that the vision of where we want to go, this is needed to get there. And if anything, we're going to need a bigger building than this. Jason, what do you think? You know?
Definitely being around the team, like, say, like, having J-Lo and, like, Trevor has been, like, game changer, really. More like how connected we are makes it to, like, the next level, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just way better for that. I think it's way better for filming content.
Film a lot more.
Yeah, we film way more now.
First of these, let's actually talk about this.
So next, I'm jumping into a content ideation meeting, which we do like every 2 weeks. I try to use my time in different ways. So like when I'm getting my hair and makeup done, I can't use my hands or anything, so I'll usually take meetings.
Looks like you were interested in the how to get better at anything in half the time.
Yeah, and this is podcast style, right?
I think we could definitely do podcasts, so I would just ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to go with that one.
I could also see this being a really good walk and talk, like very casual.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too. I'm good with either format. You know, I still don't feel like I have a content creation process. I don't like go look and see what like the top stuff is in content. I just like talk about what's interesting to me. And every time that I've tried to talk about stuff that's like relevant and top of mind, it might do well, but I just like hate making it. And so at the end of the day, I just come back to like what happened in the last few weeks for me. What are some like lessons that I feel like I've learned, people on my team have learned, my portfolio companies have learned? What are questions that people have been asking me? Where have people asked me for help? And I just think about how I could answer that person's question or develop that person in a video.
Nadia, did you want to go over yours?
I kind of came up with this concept of like how to communicate as a leader, and a big part of the brand is like transparency. Like how do you be transparent with your company while also, you know, remaining in that like professional leadership role?
yes, I want to do it. I struggle with this topic because there's no right answer. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I actually have struggled a ton and like tried to write like 6 videos kind of like this because it is an important topic. I'm just trying to figure out how to position it. I think what we want to get out of this is why I do those things. Because the why is more important than the what. When I say that there's no right answer, it's because I also just think that there's a million ways to do things. There's a million ways to grow business. You don't have to live my life. You don't have to live Alex's life. You can do it your own way. And so I always want to empower people on how to think about something rather than how to do something. In my day-to-day life, I'm trying to develop people to be leaders. And so I'm trying to teach people how to think like a leader. I'm not telling them what to do.
The last one I think is a really powerful video that we can do, but like stop trying to change yourself, change your environment. I feel like is a really key learning lesson.
No, I think that's a really good concept. I just want to do it justice. So I agree, I think it would be scripted.
Cool.
The biggest thing that's helped with my content creation process is just like literally just not being afraid to try different stuff and to say what you think.
Like I wonder if we transcribe every single one of your YouTube videos and put it into a GPT, and then like on any topic we can ask it and see what you've said on it before, and then bring it to you on some of these calls. Like this is what was said.
Be like, who is this dumb bitch? Who are you guys getting this from? And I think in the beginning I was so cautious about like what I was saying because I felt like I was gonna get judged. And then I realized I was getting judged for shit that wasn't even just me. You know, it's like now I get judged, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, yeah, that is who I am. I'm a little weird, or like I say that weird, or I talk funny, or whatever it may be. It's worth it because that's who I am, rather than somebody I'm faking being. I appreciate you guys preparing all this stuff. And if you want to throw that stuff in Asana, then I'll just like, when I have extra time, I'll start referencing it. I think I just continue to lean more into making the stuff that I want to make. And if that's not like content that goes viral, it's not content that goes viral, whatever. Yeah, I like the hair and the pink. It's super cute. I need to get this lip gloss. What is it?
Isn't it amazing? Actually, these are brand new. Do you want to see these? I could buy more. I'm seeing.
Yeah, but please just add it to your window invoice me because I'm not going to take it for free. But I will
Like,
take
I'm
that.
aggressive.
I will not accept it for free, but thank you.
I will accept it for free.
Vlogging is an interesting process because there's a lot of days that you get fucking nothing. And like the boss side of me is like, oh my God, I'm just like wasting my team's time. You should like dance monkey dance, do something cool. I'm just like sitting on meetings. And it's like, hey, can't listen to this meeting. Can't be in that meeting. Can you leave? I really appreciate it. Thank you.
So I played it with Trevor. We went back and forth on it.
I wish I could show absolutely everything. I think sometimes it can be frustrating because the things that are probably the most compelling to show are not things that other people want shown.
Yeah, it's a very big percentage. And so like
I still do it because what we do capture and when we do get glimpses into those moments, I think it gives people like a realistic expectation for, you know, what it takes to have a certain level of success, at least in the way that I do it.
which to me then also gave me a little bit of like, I'm not that worried, like more.
I would have
people-
appreciated knowing that earlier on. It's not like one day it's complete glamour and like so easy. It's like, if anything, there's much higher stakes. There's much more downside. There's much more risk. There's also a bigger reward.
Watch your step. I'm good. Thank you for doing this.
Oh yeah.
Nice to see you.
So now that I have my hair and makeup done, I'm gonna go into my first podcast of the day. I'm basically batching content. So if I do one podcast, I'm gonna try and get 3 in a day. If I don't have 3 in a day to get, I'm gonna try and get some other content. So I'm just trying to batch the content so I can go back to my normal day job.
3, 2, 1. Layla Hormozy, welcome to Think Unbroken, my friend.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. I've been looking forward to doing this with you for a long time.
Yeah.
You guys have had a ton going on between everything amazing that you do at acquisition.com, as well as this new amazing office that I'm lucky enough to be the first person to record you in here.
Yeah, it's
word on
cool.
the street. You know, you and I had the honor of meeting each other, and at the end of that conversation, I was like, you're a real motherfucker. And so I kind of want to jump this off. How do you follow through on your decision making?
I have learned how to say no without being a complete dick to people. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to say no. I'm like, why? Saying no to somebody else is saying yes to yourself. What I realized is every time I said yes to somebody else that deterred me just a little bit from my goals, I was saying no to myself. If you say yes to this person, who on the other side are you robbing that time from? Whether it be yourself or somebody else who is much more deserving of that time and who has done much more to propel themselves in the direction that you also seek to go. A huge frame I use for myself is like, this person wants this thing from you, you could help them. Well, who else needs your help that has shown through their actions that they are probably more worthy of it? And I'm like, well, I have a whole team. Hi.
How are you? Thank you for all of that.
Hi. Happy first day.
And Mom, Layla. I was like, oh, our CEO.
So now what you're watching is behind the scenes of our employee appreciation lunch that we did on that same day.
The team to send pictures. So like, this one is media team Alex cooking.
That's cool.
When was that? Let me see.
This is when we met the.
Oh, that one's
That one is filming of you. There's a team one.
They're pretty.
These are so nice to each other as sisters. My sister would be like, ew, who's that? And then she'd be like, really though, your hair doesn't look good there.
Well, I did threaten to bring a really bad childhood picture of her, but
Somebody told me that Employee Appreciation Day was coming up, and I was like, oh my God, we have an office now. We should do like a lunch or something. And then they just like went out of control, you know. No, they like coordinated a whole lunch with a cute little game, and like it was really cute.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
You know what?
Oh my god. One is so obvious. Was it? It's you, Luke. I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but damn. That looks
Damn it, dude. How'd you get that?
So the game that we played was basically you had to guess who was what baby, which I felt was very insulting. Especially I was like, who's gonna guess mine? I've had like a nose job. I definitely picked some fucked up ones. I thought some of the guys were girls and the girls were guys. I lost that game. I'm gonna be so offended if I I just realized like, what if I say a girl's a guy or a guy's a girl?
Hey, they're babies. I think that's understandable.
I got one. Well, yes is an easy one because she's not a baby.
Guys, I was an immigrant. I don't have any baby pictures of me. Literally.
Because you're just blonde dresses.
Who's this on a bike? Can't see jack shit.
I can't even see it. I can't tell.
I've changed it
Sorry.
like 4 times.
Guesses on this one?
I think it's you.
Stop. I don't want to tell you.
Oh, not
Yeah, it's you.
I didn't know you were on there, so I said Ryan.
It's you.
And then I noticed after, but I never slot.
I think that's Layla. But it's not. I just fucked up real bad.
Luke fucking thought I was one of the dudes, you know?
This one, like, actually was very difficult.
I think it's Frank.
Ryan.
A team that trusts each other and likes each other communicates more, which benefits the business. I think at the end of the day, I don't want to work somewhere where I'm like trying to avoid people that I've hired. I assume that other people that are on this team feel the same way. Like you don't want to work with people that you don't feel close to, you don't know. I think having time to just like talk about bullshit, I think it's important.
That's what?
No way.
Shoulders back in the day.
You had long hair?
Just threw my bracket.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That screwed the whole thing.
So then after that lunch, I went to the studio for my second podcast of the day.
Awesome. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Fired up. What's our hard stop here?
We can go till like 3:45.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
You're just super generous with your knowledge, and your stuff's on a whole nother level, and what you're doing is massively generous to business owners and everybody.
Oh, thanks, dude.
And thanks for being real in a world of fakes.
I appreciate that, so thank you. I think what makes for good questions as a podcast host are asking personal questions. Like vague, open-ended questions, I don't do great with. I like to know, like, where are you trying to lead me?
And have you always had the mental toughness to perform under pressure, or was there a particular time in your life when you didn't, and how did you grow it?
People have to do research to dig, to find those moments that people haven't spoken of because they haven't caught on to the little things someone has said, and someone just like pulls that string. I think those people are the best podcast hosts. I have had the ability to remain poised when there's a lot of shit happening and when I'm stressed. And I think that I've gotten a lot of that practice through running the business and showing up on a meeting with hundreds of employees and remaining poised.
Oh, how'd you feel about the podcast setup?
Dude, it was so good. Compared to what I thought it was gonna be, I thought it was gonna be like the card table and like chairs.
Yeah.
So then I wrapped up the day with a few meetings, and I think the first one was a meeting with Caleb, who's our director of brand. Like, okay, as we're scaling, what happens is processes break, ones that take long take even longer, and then meetings multiply. I wanna take away before we, And one of the things that I was discussing with Caleb was basically a company-wide initiative that I had talked about, where it's basically just like, we need to eliminate meetings. Like, we have too many, I'm looking at all your calendars, like, there's waste.
My takeaway from it is ultimately people just want to know what's going on. If we eliminate all these meetings, everyone's going to feel so isolated.
Especially if people report to me and they get on a meeting and it seems like there was a decision made and they weren't looped in. Then they DM me and say, is this what's happening? Should I change all these things? And I'm like, if I wasn't aware that this change was made either, then how can I help? I can think of better ways to get the job done. I might figure out how to double their time if I just understand where the inefficiencies are. And that's what I'm personally very good at.
Somebody, either Jimmy or Michael, brought up the need for another call. I think it may have been Michael, and Jimmy's first thing was, okay, cool, what call are we eliminating? And I was like, my God.
That's cool.
That's fucking.
I just look at it like it's my responsibility to know where the most valuable resource is going, and the most valuable resource is labor.
And that is something I do think that like we have bloated our calendar.
I've done mine, and honestly, I was talking to Trevor about it for a while, and then I was just like, I literally thought, who do I get the most done with? And I thought of the people. The highest one would be Yasmin Davina, right? I work all day, every day. We never have calls. We only use Asana and Slack. Because what happens is often people wait till the meeting, which with some things is good, but with like tasks and projects that move the business forward, I want them to just be small. And so it's like, if I know where all the time goes, I can be like, oh, I can triple this person's output by just removing these things, and they would probably be happy for it. So I had this like realization, I was like, oh my God, I need to change everything.
What would be better would be to eliminate the meetings and then create a meeting purely for the social, right?
Yeah, it's like, if we want it to be a social thing, then let's have a social meeting rather than like this like half thing. I think that in a lot of the ways, as a business scales, things become more complex. Faster communication cycles can usually prevent that.
The agenda for the leadership call.
Yeah.
That's what it was. When we had that, it made me completely rethink all of those things. And that's when we had the conversation of like, what can we move from meeting to Asana, and like, so thank you, because
of course.
I imagine we have bloated and we will continue to do it.
Totally, and it's more like, it's even just a little bit of like, I look at your calendar and think like, what meetings do I think are a waste? And I think you can always add meetings back if something doesn't work, you know? That's the way, I think one-on-ones are super important. Caleb immediately took action and was like, here's what I'm thinking for the media team. We got the full team meeting. So the next team meeting that we have is the full team meeting, which always starts with shout outs.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. And we are going to start with shout outs. Ben.
I just wanted to shout out Neil for being an awesome thought partner. Neil and I meet and I get to throw ideas at him and we trade thoughts, and I feel like whenever we talk about something, I understand the problem differently. I just wanted to shout out Neil for that.
Time and time again, like over the last 8 years, I've run full team meetings so many different ways, and I've just realized that it needs to be, for the most part, hype.
Thank you, Ben. And Nadia?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Jason because like I have the pleasure of just really witnessing his growth, like not only as like a videographer, but as an interviewer, and just like busting out the best footage ever. And yeah, I love you, Jason. You're doing amazing.
Like, it just needs to get people happy and excited. And so for me, I think a lot of it is sharing wins, sharing what's good, celebrations. And that's what I like to center those around.
And Layla.
Yeah, I had two. One was I wanted to give a shout out to Jimmy and Michael because I kind of just threw a meeting on their calendar last minute. And then I just kind of like went forward, and then they were like, well, we prepared this entire, 3-page document, making sure that we could take action on the things we talked about, which I really appreciated. And the second was a shout out to Neil and Ben. I was gonna say, for thinking like owners and proactively taking the time to help us hit our goals faster. Huge relief on me because I'm also thinking ahead, but not as methodically as the two of them. So it was very much appreciated.
We are done here. All right, I'll give you 3 minutes back. Have a good day, everyone.
I think the end of my day is open to interpretation, because sometimes I end up like staying late helping someone work on something. Sometimes I end up wanting to just go home immediately so I can just like reset and then work again at home. And then sometimes I end up like going on a walk with people.
Now, but you take your walk and I'll see you back in a little bit.
Okay. I am open to being flexible. Despite liking to have a schedule every day, like I'm open to changing up what I'm gonna do based on what happens. Oh, fuck, it's cold. Definitely weird to see like a sign go up on a building that's your own. It's not like a space that you rent. It's not like in another building. It's like a standalone building that you own with your sign, with your team. It's a cool feeling. It feels like the dream is coming to life. I don't know why a fucking sign on the building feels like such an accomplishment. It feels like an accomplishment because I think, when I first started off in business, my first company was remote, and when we had 100 employees, it didn't feel real until we had an in-person event. And then I was like, holy crap, wow, all these people work at this company that was just an idea 5 years ago. And I think it just makes it very real. I think I feel pride, like a sense of pride in what we've done and what we're doing. Buying a huge building is a big risk, and it was scary for me to do, and we've done it, and I think it's like starting to come together, it's starting to look cool. in a way, it's like putting your stake in the ground of like, this is gonna work and it's gonna be something big. That's like the big aspirational piece that like keeps me loving it. And I just feel proud for taking big swings. Like, I think that's actually what it is like, yes, let's do the building. And then I was like, yes, we're going all in on training and workshops. I think I feel good taking big swings. We're not in some 1,000 square foot thing. Like, we're saying, we're gonna fill this building. I've got one life to live. I wanna hang out with cool fucking people and do cool fucking epic shit. And like, I wanna do it in a building that's cool as fuck. I think I've always wanted a business in person, and now it feels like it's coming to life.